The reason that we've set up Oracy Aotearoa New Zealand is that I've been working with low Oracy kids since the 1980s. I'm really concerned about how low Oracy has become an intergenerational issue in Aotearoa New Zealand. As a speech language therapist and teacher who's worked across all levels of education, tells me that Oracy is one of the most important skills that children need to have in order to succeed throughout their lives. Who are we talking about? Well, we've got up to 80% of our kids, mostly from poor homes, who are starting school without the language that they need. And this is going to have massive consequences throughout their lives unless we address it early. So Oracy Aotearoa New Zealand is choosing to focus on 3 to 6 year olds because we think this is the best window that we can deliver Oracy promotion interventions, encourage parents. Oracy is something we all can help with our children. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be able to understand that when we tell our stories, we help them tell their stories. The only time I can think about what it might be like to not be good at Oracy is when I think about being in a country where I don't know the language. And then it's like a huge barrier to my being able to participate, to relax, to have a good time, to get to know things, to actually feel like I'm fitting in. So Oracy is as much to do with connection. It's so important for us to know our histories and to be able to talk about our histories, that we're socially connected to other kids. We're really concerned about literacy in New Zealand, and we need to be. One of the things, though, that I think is overlooked in that discussion or debate is that our low Oracy children aren't even going to be able to achieve literacy until we address Oracy. I'd compare it to saying you're asking these kids to run a marathon when they're barely walking. And then sometimes what I also hear is we blame the kids when they stumble. So I think it's really important for us to address Oracy in the first place so that we can ensure better literacy outcomes. What's it like for a kid who does have low Oracy? A child who hits conflict in the classroom, in the, in the sandpit, in the playground, they're going to not be able to put their side of the story. And that's going to have huge consequences for them. And when you think about if that Oracy doesn't get sorted out, have a think about how that will be when they're 14 or 20. It goes on. So Oracy is not just important in childhood, it's important throughout our lives, and we're not going to be fully participating members of our communities unless we can sort this out. That makes it an issue of equity as well, particularly considering most of our low Oracy kids come from low income homes. We've created a website so that you can be more informed about what's happening locally, nationally and internationally to address these issues. I want to really encourage everybody who's watching this video to be part of the solution. The things that we can do immediately is we can have a think about how we interact with our low Oracy kids. Asking questions is really not helpful. When you ask me questions, I don't have the words to answer you. And when you ask me more questions, that's even more threatening for me. One of the most useful things you can do is share your stories. You help me develop my stories when you share your stories. Name and explain things for me. That means that I get to know what things are called and what they do. Talk with me rather than at me. Then I believe that we can all contribute to our vision, which is helping tamariki become confident communicators.